Hello and welcome back to the Quantum Leap. I'm your host, Dr. Nirdosh Jagota. In our last episode, we painted a picture of the future, the AI native pharmaceutical company. A company where artificial intelligence isn't just a tool, but the very foundation of its operating system. But how did we get here? What was the spark that ignited this revolution? Today, we go back to the moment it all began. We're going to talk about a scientific puzzle that stood unsolved for half a century. A grand challenge in biology that, when finally cracked, unlocked a new era for medicine. This is the story of the protein folding problem and the AI that solved it, AlphaFold. To understand the magnitude of this breakthrough, we first need to appreciate the heroes of our story, proteins. They are the microscopic machinery of life. In every cell of your body, these complex molecules are hard at work, carrying out the countless processes that keep you alive. They are the enzymes that digest your food, the antibodies that fight off infection, the hemoglobin that carries oxygen in your blood. They are, in essence, life's master architects and engineers. But here's the crucial part. A protein's function is almost entirely dictated by its unique, intricate, three-dimensional shape. For decades, the only way to determine that shape was through slow, expensive, and often frustrating experimental methods like X-ray crystallography. It could take years and millions of dollars to map out a single protein, and there are hundreds of millions of them. This created a massive bottleneck in biological research. We knew the genetic code, the one-dimensional sequence of amino acids that make up a protein, but we couldn't reliably predict the final 3D structure it would fold into. This was the protein folding problem. Back in 1972, the Nobel laureate Christian Anfinsen proposed what became known as Anfinsen's dogma, that the amino acid sequence alone should determine a protein's final structure. But this led to a staggering paradox, first noted by Cyrus Leventhal in 1969. He calculated that a typical protein could theoretically fold into an astronomical number of shapes, a 1 followed by 300 zeros. If a protein tried to find its correct shape by random trial and error, it would take longer than the age of the universe. Yet, in our bodies, it happens in milliseconds. How? For 50 years, this question stumped the brightest minds in science. To spur progress, the scientific community created a competition, CASP, the Critical Assessment of Protein Structure Prediction. Every 2 years, teams from around the world would compete to predict the structure of proteins that had been experimentally solved but not yet published. For years, the results were incremental. The best teams were hitting an accuracy of around 40%. Useful, but not revolutionary. Then, in 2018, a new player entered the field, DeepMind, a London-based AI lab acquired by Google. Their AI, named AlphaFold, won the competition, but it was their performance at the next CASP in November 2020 that sent shockwaves through the scientific world. AlphaFold 2 didn't just win, it obliterated the competition. It predicted protein structures with a median accuracy of 92.4 on the Global Distance Test, or GDT, a standard measure of accuracy. A score over 90 is considered comparable to results from experimental methods. The average error was about 1.6 angstroms, the width of a single atom. Professor John Molt, the co-founder of CASP, famously declared that the 50-year-old grand challenge was, in many ways, over. So what happened? How did they do it? AlphaFold 2 was a completely new architecture, co-led by the brilliant minds of Demis Hassabis and John Jumper at DeepMind. It used a novel attention-based neural network, inspired by the same transformer models that power large language models today to analyze the relationships between amino acids. It learned to see a protein not just as a sequence, but as a spatial graph, and it could reason about which parts of that graph were likely to be close to each other. But the true revolution wasn't just in solving the problem. It was what DeepMind did next. In partnership with the European Bioinformatics Institute, or EMBLEBI, they didn't just publish their results, they gave it away. They created the AlphaFold protein structure database, making the structure of every protein they predicted, initially the entire human proteome, and eventually over 200 million structures from across all known life, freely and openly available to anyone. Think about that. A task that would have taken hundreds of millions of years of experimental work was completed and shared with the world. It was a watershed moment for open science. As of late 2025, the database has been used by over 3 million researchers in 190 countries. It has been cited in tens of thousands of scientific papers. It's accelerating research into malaria vaccines, cancer treatments, and antibiotic resistance. Scientists at the Drugs for Neglected Diseases initiative are using it to find new treatments for Chagas disease. Researchers in Colorado used it to understand a bacterial protein involved in antibiotic resistance in just 30 minutes, a structure they had been stuck on for 10 years. This monumental achievement was recognized in 2024 with the Nobel Prize in Chemistry, awarded jointly to Demis Hassabis and John Jumper for protein structure prediction. AlphaFold is the bedrock upon which the new age of drug discovery is being built. It allows us to finally see the targets we want to hit with new medicines. It's the foundational layer of the AI-native pharma company we discussed in our first episode. And the story doesn't end there. In May of 2024, DeepMind and its sister company, Isomorphic Labs, unveiled AlphaFold 3. This new model goes even further, predicting not just proteins, but their interactions with other crucial molecules like DNA, RNA, and the small molecules that make up most drugs. It is, for the first time, an AI system that surpasses traditional physics-based tools for predicting these complex biological interactions. We've moved from a world of scarcity in structural biology to one of incredible abundance. The challenge is no longer just finding the structure, but understanding what to do with this ocean of new information. And that is the journey we will continue to explore in the coming episodes. Join me next time on The Quantum Leap as we explore the companies at the vanguard of this new frontier, the AI-first biotechs like Isomorphic Labs, In Silico Medicine, and Recursion Pharmaceuticals, who are building the drug discovery engines of the future. Thank you for listening.